What up, YouTube? Cam That Guy here. I'm back once again with another YouTube video, man. So this is the final update. I repeat, this is the final update, okay? So in this YouTube video, I'm pretty much going to be going over present events and shit. But not only that, I'm going to be going over past and future and shit. So basically in this video, I remember I said this in my HSV1 video, right? Y'all remember my HSV1 video? I had said I'm going over, I want to do probably like a little documentary or whatever, right? Because this is something I have not done on the Cam That Guy channel, even though I made enough videos to where you could look at them and you could get a good summary. I haven't really, really touched bases, you know what I'm saying, with the people out there and all that other shit. So I'm just going to kind of start like in the beginning. I'm just going to kind of start like where I'm at and all that other shit, my plans and shit. And then after that, I'm just going to go past and all that other shit. Now, look, I do want to get ready to say I'm not giving out no free clout. Like, right now, this is one of the worst times for me to mention anybody's name, especially in my past. This got to be one of the worst times to do it, right? You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to bring up no past shit, you know what I'm saying? And also I'm not trying to bring up no celebrity shit and all that other shit. Though I will be able to give the descriptions well enough to where you will be able to know who I'm talking about and the person will know who I'm talking about. Though there are certain situations I will avoid, you know what I'm saying, all that other shit, because not trying to give out free clout, you know what I'm saying? I don't. Because, you know, you involve certain people in your life, you know what I mean? Especially when I'm getting ready to do this social experiment, it's not a good idea for me to mention nobody's name. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm getting ready to network and shit. Not a good idea. But anyway, let's go on and talk, you know what I'm saying? So, currently, you know what I'm saying, as you all may know about the final update, this is my final YouTube video on the Cam That Guy channel. For a long time, you know what I'm saying? Could be forever, could just be just for a long time. So yeah, currently my current situation is, well, I got a license, so at this point, what I'm looking forward to doing is getting a car by December, right? I should have a car by December. And with this car by December, I'm gonna be doing Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, right? This will give me a solid earning, right? Now, it's not going to be a good earning, but it's going to be solid. And I was like, I got to get a quality car because, you know, I'm going to be driving all around the road and shit. But this should give me a solid earning. And what this will do is give me enough money to hopefully move to Atlanta, Georgia. Right? That's kind of like my strategy right now. I don't really know nobody out there, so but my plan was like, I need to move somewhere, right? But I look at my car, right? Where can this car take me? Okay, the only two places is Miami and Atlanta, right? Miami, believe it or not, I know more people down in Miami than I do in Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? Like Miami, there's actually influencers down there, right? In Atlanta, I don't know nobody out there. They all moved out. So who knows? I might drive down to Miami. That would be a bit of a stretch. I think Miami it's a couple hours. I think Atlanta's shorter than Miami probably. You know what I mean? I gotta see and shit. Because I'm looking to drive down there. I'm looking to drive. You know what I mean? But who knows, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I might accumulate enough money to where I could, you know, sell my car or whatever. Do something in between the lines so where I could get something in whatever I want to move to. Because maybe I don't have to drive. Maybe I could get a plane and fly to Los Angeles. And maybe I could do something with the car I bought. Get that money in return and then fly to Los Angeles. Maybe I could do that. So we just don't know. We just gotta wait and see and shit. I don't really know. It really don't even matter if I have a car or not. So the more I think about it, I should just do Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, right? Try to get enough money. When I get the money I need, I can fly to Los Angeles, right? I can fly to Los Angeles. That sounds like a good idea. Los Angeles All the celebrities live there, right? So I think that's kind of what I'm steering towards. Just do Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, get enough money to where I could travel out there and shit, and see if I could run into a celebrity. Just seeing if I could run into somebody or stream snipe somebody. That's just what that's my only hope, pretty much. I think that makes sense. I mean, I shouldn't bank on driving my car all the way down to Miami or some shit. Though I do know of a few influencers down there, they don't stream or nothing like that, so it'll be hard for me to even run into them. I'm better off going to Los Angeles where everybody's at. You know what I'm saying? And getting lucky there. That's my only hope. You know what I'm saying? Because my life is not going to have no change. They don't want life to go my way. I have no physical support system, like on the YouTube, Instagram and shit. Niggas be hating jails, I can't get a job. You know what I'm saying? All that shit in between, right? So that's literally my only hope. So that's what I'm steering towards, right? So that's my current situation. You know what I'm saying? That's my current situation. Shit. I can't even get into trade school because niggas be hating and shit. I can't even get into that. You know what I mean? So this is my only hope, and I'm looking forward to doing this. Hopefully it works out well. I can't guarantee everything's gonna work out smooth for me. Something might interfere because niggas don't want life to go my way. Anyway, that's my current present, right? Oh yeah, one more thing. Obviously, you know what I'm saying, let me mention this for, all intents and purposes, right? I'm getting ready to do one last networking experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready to network with some hoes, right? I already did a video on it, all that other shit. You know what I mean? So I kind of been seeing shit on social media. I've been putting pieces together and shit. So a lot of people, I guess in their head, they probably think, when I go approach these hoes, I'm about to really get mad or yell or, knock shit down or something like that. I'm not finna do that. I'm gonna talk to the bitch regular. I'm probably gonna have a little bit of hype in my voice. I'm gonna talk to the bitch regular and keep it moving. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get arrested when I do this networking experience. I promise you. I'm not finna get arrested for nobody. I'm not finna let nobody get me shot or arrested. I'm just gonna correct her. You know what I'm saying? If she wanna say something, out of bounds, then I'm just gonna say what I need to say and keep it moving. We'll move on to the next girl. I'm only approaching 4 girls. After that, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I predict I will get rejected by all of them. I predict none of them will want to associate with me. That's my prediction, right? Hopefully I'm wrong, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this works, right? And then after this, I will never approach nobody again. Like I said, I don't know the destination. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm gonna do it at. I would say the highest probability is either at a grocery store or the mall. I'm gonna keep it a buck, but who knows? I might go to FSU maybe. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? So I would say it's between those 3 locations. I don't really know. We just gotta wait and see. Aside from that, outside of that networking experience, like I said, that's pretty much all I really got in stored. You know what I'm saying? After today, I'm getting ready to be silent. And obviously, I'm going to tweet on Threads. I'm going to write on Threads where I'm going to do the networking experience at. And hopefully one of the CEOs charge y'all for being, there. Because you got to be there with a reason. So you can't just be there just to be an asshole. Like, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think you're going to get me arrested or shot, think again. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going. You know what I mean? Not for nobody. You know what I mean? So I'm just going, correct you, say what I need to say, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna throw away my life for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You know what I mean? I'm not finna crash out over you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to say what I need to say and keep it moving. You know what I mean? So if you thought that was your way of getting me killed, think again. You know what I mean? So make sure, like I said, when you be there with purpose. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. You know what I mean? Anyhow, you know what I'm saying? Aside from that, you know what I mean? So aside from that, that's pretty much all I got in store, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, my final videos, already on, going and shit. I got this Uber and DoorDash and Lyft. I'm looking forward to doing when I get this car in December. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, you know what I mean? I'm going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen and shit, you know what I mean? And when I accumulate some money, I'll take a plane to Los Angeles in hopes of running into a celebrity. You know what I mean? So that's just what I'm looking forward to and shit. And that's really my only hope for a life change because I'm not going to get it no way else. And that's pretty much all I really got to say as far as present situations. As far as the present, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get by. I really, I'm dealing with issues with my body, my organs moving and shit. But, like I said, I don't hear no voice or nothing like that. Just, organs moving in my body or whatever. But it's not, it's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? And eventually it'll stop. You know what I'm saying? They'll give up eventually. And whoever's doing it, I hope you die. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's just how it is and shit, you know what I mean? But aside from that, let's go ahead and get into other scenarios, right? We about to get into my childhood and we're going to advance all the way up. I just want to lay down the foundation. I kind of want to let society and people know my point of view on things, still certain situations, all that other shit, right? So look. Growing up for me was cool up until middle school. But let me just describe it, right? We're going to begin with elementary, right? So elementary school for me was definitely, it was a good thing for me. And believe it or not, I learned probably the most in elementary school. But I'm pretty sure that goes for any kid, right? But I really feel like I definitely, I went to a good little private school that taught me cursive, you know what I'm saying? Taught me Bible shit, you know what I'm saying? Taught me, obviously mathematics and all that good shit, right? You know what I mean? I went to a good little Christian school. And that's why I want to put my daughter in a Christian school for sure. You know what I'm saying? And my son, I want to put him in one too. And I will talk about them later on in this video. But I definitely want to do that. I want to put him in a Christian school, probably all the way up until 8th grade. I'll throw him in a public high school. But that's a story for another day. But, good little elementary school. I had a couple of acquaintances there. You know what I'm saying? It was a good experience and shit. It was nice. It was nice. Typical shit. It was good. Good experience for me. Like I said, I'm not getting into detail because we're not giving out free clout. Let's move to middle school. So middle school, you know what I'm saying? This was when, like I said, I think it was 8th grade is when I got hit by the FBI, right? That's when I got hit by the FBI and shit. But we talk 6th and 7th grade. Those were good, you know what I'm saying? Good grades for me, you know what I'm saying? This is when, like I said, I was not known, right? So it was good, you know what I'm saying? Just to, go through that and all that other shit. And, yeah, you know what I mean? That's what 6th grade was for me. I did have a little bit more learning. This is when my language skills started to kick in. I've always had a good vocabulary, to be truthful, but even since elementary school, I had a good vocabulary, but it advanced and shit like that. And other shit. Yeah. Then we get into high school, right? So high school, you know what I'm saying? This is when my learning curve definitely went down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I definitely stopped learning a little bit. Went to these other schools. I was bouncing around and shit. And learning curve went down. Picked back up, I would definitely say junior. When I was a junior at the other school. Picked back up a little bit, started learning, even senior year. To be truthful, I think my senior year, that's the best I ever was at math. You know what I'm saying? 100%. I think my senior year, that is the best I ever was at math. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I actually, I really outdid myself because, I really started to tighten up. When I was a senior, I really didn't care. I would skip class and shit, but I didn't get no fuss about that bullshit. Everything else, my environment and shit. The teachers, they were relatively nice. Public high school, you know what I'm saying? Even elementary. Well, elementary, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really like the elementary stuff. Oh my goodness. It was just one, oh my god. It was just one lady. I ain't gonna get into detail, man. I can't give out free clout, but it was just one teacher I didn't like. But other than that, everybody else I did like. Middle school, I did fairly well with the teachers. In high school, I did fairly well with the public school teachers, right? But not the other high school. The other high school, private, no, I didn't. Man, now let's go and move on. Let's move on to let's move on to what I'm moving on to. uh, so let's fast forward to when I discovered I got hacked. This is when I was doing videos and shit. Now, this is something I could get a little bit more in detail with, you know what I'm saying? Because this is more pertaining to me and nobody else, right? So I started doing videos and shit, and it worked out well for me. You know what I mean? I was doing videos and shit, but you know, the videos I do on they obviously was not as entertaining as the videos I got on the Cam That Guy channel, right? The videos I was doing on one of my old YouTube channels, they were very, you know what I'm saying, just kind of generic. I'm not saying they were bad, but they did not compare to the Cam That Guy videos at all. The Cam That Guy videos I got on the channel, they're actually quality. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it a being with you. Like, I really think the videos on the Cam That Guy channel, I could binge watch those videos. Like, I could be like engaged with those videos, right? Whereas if you got like my other channel, right? My first YouTube channel was like, no, right? Then I did make a second YouTube channel go around after I quit my job and shit, right? That YouTube channel, it didn't do it wasn't ideal, right? I mean, the videos I posted was cool and shit, but it don't compare to the Cam That Guy channel. It don't compare to that channel, right? Cam That Guy is definitely like the last channel I have right now. This is definitely the best YouTube channel I have running. You know what I'm saying? I could definitely pick apart a few videos and shit. You know, some videos I don't want to watch just because of certain reasons, right? But I could definitely, you know, get engaged at a few videos on the Cam That Guy channel. Whereas you got those first two YouTube channels I made, I don't really have all that much, you know, entertaining vids, right? In my opinion. Anyways. So outside of YouTube, obviously I used to be a musician. I quit that because it was bad for me. It was not a good idea for me. I mean, it was good while it lasted. You know, I mean, it was my passion. You know, I enjoyed it. It was cool for me and shit. But like I said, I quit music because, like I said, I didn't want to be known for music. I didn't want to fit into that criteria of group of people. And I just wanted to do something else. And ultimately, I don't want my kids to look at me and be like, man, he's a bad person, he's a rapper or something like that. Or I try to, you know, involve me with some other celebrity or some shit like that, right? You know, niggas be jealous and shit. So that's the reason why, you know, I definitely put that to rest. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it was putting my life at danger, you know what I'm saying? Because I made music and shit, I went through that torture in jail. You know what I'm saying? If I would never did music, I would never went through that shit. If I would just did videos, I probably would have got in now in like 3 days. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what it goes down to and shit. But, yeah, you know what I mean? That's kind of like how it is and shit. But, I mean, ultimately, you know what I'm saying? It was cool for me and shit. I wasn't in no worry. Speak on the jail shit, I don't really like to talk about it too much, but I mean, I knew I wasn't going to necessarily, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have realistically stayed in that jail cell for like many years. You know what I'm saying? Despite the coldness, which was the worst part about it, my body temperature was still at a Fahrenheit to where I wasn't sick, right? So in other words, I was not sick when I was in that confinement, so I wasn't like sick, like sneezing, coughing, throat hurt. Throat was hurting a little bit when I first got in there, but obviously my body adjusted. I remember I used this saying before. It was like, I don't like to, you know, bring analogies into this shit, but I'm using that as an example, right? This is an anime I like, Dragon Ball Z. I call it, I went into a hyperbolic time chamber, right? So what that pretty much means is I walked into a time machine. That's what it was, right? So I walked in there. I came out way older, way more mature. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened, right? Not saying the jail necessarily changed me that much, but it made me do a lot of thinking and shit. And plus, even the situation, even the prior, like after that fucking CVS situation, I said, yeah, I gotta change my ways, right? Because this shit gonna get me killed. You know what I'm saying? This is not working for me, right? So even when that CVS situation, I knew I had to do that, right? But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I came out of jail and shit. You know what I'm saying? Living life. I'm having fun. Like, I'm having a good fucking time. Especially January and February. Those are the 2 months I posted 3 times a day. I want niggas to know I got 200 videos on my YouTube channel, right? Majority of those videos came from January and February. You know what I mean? I just want niggas to know I posted 3 times daily. Didn't work out for me because niggas don't want to support me and shit, but that's what I did. You know what I mean? And I was saying in one of my old videos about how if you just have one physical follower that actually follow you and shit, how it could drastically change everything. You just gotta have one to get going. I have none, right? So that's why I get no support. I don't have the motivation to do this shit. I feel like I'm talking to myself, like this shit's not fun. I have more fun interacting with threaders than I do get on here chatting. Be real, I have more fun interacting with threads than I do get on here talking and yapping. You know what I'm saying? It's not doing nothing for me, right? This shit was done for me. Man, well, aside from that, I think that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? This is the final update. You know what I'm saying? This is the final update and shit. You know what I mean? This was not gonna be no long video, even though I said it was like a documentary, not in video length. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the last video I posted was longer, right? Because that was supposed to be an hour, but I just cut it short because my throat was getting dry. You know what I mean? But, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it for this video. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all I gotta say. This is the final update. You know what I mean? And it's been real. It's been nice and shit. It's been good. I hope y'all enjoyed this ride with the Cam That Guy channel. You know what I mean? I'm doing very well. You know what I'm saying? I'm good, positive, all that other shit. I'm doing well. You know what I mean? So that's just a situation and shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it going, stay positive, keep doing what I do. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, you know what I'm saying? If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you next video. I mean, there is no next video. I will see you probably never again, or I might come back. To be continued. Yeah. Alrighty. Forgot to add this in it. I forgot to talk about future kids, right? This is a topic that's trending like a motherfucker, right? Let's go and talk about it, man. So, some of my future kids and shit. Let's talk about my son first, right? So if I have a son, I already said this in old videos. Let me reiterate it. For my son, I want him to, you know what I'm saying, obviously, be happy. You know what I'm saying? My son happy, I'm happy. I want him to be whatever he want to be in life. Whatever he down with, I'm with. I just want to be happy. Like I said, I'm not going to just be like his yes man, you know what I'm saying? Just give him everything he wants. Obviously, I'm going to make sure he has some type of, you know, mannerism and, you know, appropriateness, you know what I'm saying? All that other shit. I'm going to make sure he's well tamed and behaved and shit. Make sure that he respects me and loves me the right way and shit like that, you know what I mean? All that other shit. But for the most part, I mean, you know, I just want to be happy and shit, you know what I mean? And if my son happy, that makes me happy. I don't want him to have a bad childhood like me. I don't want him to go through what I went through. So I'm going to try to avoid as much as possible. Honestly, I just want him to, you know, I'm going to make sure, you know, he's balling at a young age. Make sure he really out there. You know what I mean? So in other words, you know, he going to have money in his pocket. He will not be broke. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make sure he got a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? He will not be a single lonesome. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to make sure that, you know, he driving to school and shit. I don't want him taking the bus. You know what I mean? You know, I want him to have friends and shit. You know what I'm saying? And whatever he want to do in life, I will support it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if my son happy, it just makes me feel like I did something, like I accomplished something, like I'm proud. I'm proud of this. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm proud that my son is happy and he, you know, fucks with me and shit like that. I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of him. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's happy, I'm happier. Might even cry or some shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's just how it be and shit. So if he's happy, I'm happy. That's just how it go. if I can't make him happy, if society really treats my son bad in some type of way, then there's a problem. Then I gotta get crunk. You know what I'm saying? I don't like doing that. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I honestly think, you know what I'm saying, my son will be very cool, calm. And if I had a son, I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna live to have a grandchild. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I might end up living to have a grandchild. I grow up along with him. I'm gonna grow up along with him. Type shit. You know what I mean? Now, you know what I'm saying? If I had a daughter, that's where a lot of things change. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of things change, right? Because it's like, man, like once I have this daughter, that's when it's like I can't let no man, and especially no woman, disrespect me. That's something that can't happen, right? Especially a woman, even a man. It goes especially for both, right? But especially a woman, I'll be damned. I'll let my daughter see another woman disrespect me. You know, so that's not happening. With the exception of my wife, but obviously I'll touch on that a little later in this video, right? But outside of my wife, I'll be damned I'll let my daughter see any other woman disrespect me. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you that right now. That will not happen, right? And then I'll be damned if she let her see a man disrespect me. That's not going to happen either. You're not just going to disrespect me and just, you know what I'm saying, live to tell about it. You want to get some type of correction. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it's going to be and shit. You know, I'm not going to tolerate no disrespect. I'm just being honest. Now, let me say pertaining to the child itself, daughter itself, right? I'm gonna name her Heaven, you know what I'm saying? But so let's say, you know what I'm saying, somebody wants to test Heaven out. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a child, adult, or teacher. This is where things get a little dicey, right? Because this is where I gotta debate, you know what I'm saying, it depends how it go, right? So if a child hits my child, it's like, okay. Obviously, you know what I'm saying, that child's parent is going to get it, and good chance the child itself. But if I can't get to that child, I can have other children get that child, right? That's my game plan, right? Now, if a teacher, you know what I'm saying, do something to my child, that teacher going to get it, man or woman. Do not physically touch my child, you know what I mean? But, you know, you can, you know, fucking, you know what I mean, talk to them wherever, yell if it's warranted, but you don't have to do that, you know what I mean, and all that other shit, right? But obviously I'm gonna make sure my daughter is respectful with manners and shit, so that wouldn't even be a problem, right? But yeah, you know what I mean, all that other shit, right? And then let's say if a stranger, right? Let's say if a stranger, you know what I'm saying, want to try their luck, it's over with. He dead, you know what I mean? He's a dead man, you know what I mean? If the teacher want to try their luck, they might be dead, right? And then obviously the kid, I'm just have other kids do something to that kid, right? Or I might do something to the kid itself. Depends on the situation, right? But that's kind of the, you know, it depends on the age range, right? It depends on the age range. If she more up in the age, like 16, 17, and let's say a girl want to do something to her or a boy, then I feel like I can get right with that teenager, right? But if it's like 4 or 3 or 5 or something like that, I mean, I might do something to the kid, but honestly, I would probably have somebody else do something to that person or some shit. You know what I mean? That's probably what I would do or some shit. It depends on the situation, but that's a story for another. If I could even have the ability to have other kids do something to that kid, right? If I can't do it, I'll do something myself. I'll discipline the kid myself, then I'll get right with the parent. You know what I'm saying? All that other shit. Obviously, it depends on the damage of what you do to the child. You know what I'm saying? If it's just a little slap or something like that, you can live or whatever. If you hurt my child to the point like a broken bone or some shit or a black eye, like, you gonna be dead. You will be deceased from this earth. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be gone and shit. So it depends on the damage, and it depends on the verbal abuse. It depends on what you do to my child. You know what I'm saying? This is me. That is my body. You know, so I just want to make that very clear. You know what I'm saying? That is my DNA. That is my flesh. You know, so I just want to make that very clear. You know what I'm saying? I made that child. That is me. That is my girlfriend. That is my bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's who it is. Like, yes, you know what I'm saying? That's who it is, right? And a lot of people are probably wondering, well, man, so why are you so head over heels over your daughter and all that other shit, right? Well, because I've been mistreated by women my whole life, so I just feel so entitled to this girl. Like, I really feel like man, I feel like she's my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, man, like, I live for her. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, I'm not her slave or anything like that, but it's like, I live to make sure that she's a self-made boss bitch doing very well and successful in life. And ultimately, she might go through a little trial and tribulation as far as getting mad at me, the individual. But she'll realize as she get older that I'm really the best dad in the fucking world. And all that other shit, right? So, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know that shit, you know what I mean? All that other shit. And also, I feel I need to mention this, right? I'm going to get her a promise ring when she probably about, I don't know. I want to give it to her kind of early, you know what I'm saying? But her fingers are very fucking small. I don't know what I can do to babies. I don't know if I can get a baby ring. I might just buy her one in advance. You know what I'm saying? All that other shit. I'm going to get her a really, I'm going to buy the most expensive ring I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably going to go broke buying this ring. But that's what I'm going to do to her. Just to let her know, you know what I'm saying? I am always with you. You know what I mean? Whether I get what I end up dead, or I'm just going, not around, not talking to you, whatever. I'm always with you, always caring about you, looking over you and shit. So this ring is just to, you know, remind her, you know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty much to let her know, it's essentially like a tattoo. You know what I'm saying? That ring is going to let her know that I'm always with her. Like she going, you know what I mean? I think your hands are probably big enough for a ring, probably like middle school. You know what I'm saying? That's probably what she'll be able to wear. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Every time she wash her hands, lotion, every time she write with a pencil, she gonna see that ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? You my body and shit, you know what I mean? Yep. So I kind of, essentially like I'm marrying my child, right? So obviously I'm gonna have a wife and shit, but I'm marrying my child in a way. You know what I mean? And then, you know, she gonna wear that ring for the rest of her life. Even when she get married to another man, you know, she's still gonna wear that ring. You know what I'm saying? Because she gonna realize the stuff I'm doing for her, I'm trying to do for me and shit. So, yeah. Now, let me talk about my wife and shit. I mean, obviously I want a girl, you know, so I'm looking for a girl, looking for a woman and shit. I hope I can find somebody that can, you know, handle me well. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that wants the best for me. Somebody that really fucks with me for who I am. Somebody that's polite, you know what I'm saying? All that good shit, you know what I mean? And all that other shit. Somebody that meets my criteria, that meets the standards and shit. All that good shit, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that, you know, fits that standard and shit. So I'm looking forward to finding a woman and shit. It most likely won't be in Tallahassee. Like, I'm doing one last networking experience just for the hell of it, but that shit probably gonna go way bad. I mean, I'm predicting that shit gonna go horrible, bro. I'm gonna wear my Puma jacket and shit, you know. You know, I wear that shit. Shit finna get down and dirty, beach. Yeah, gonna be dressed in Puma, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that means shit finna go down, you know what I'm saying? When I wear that shit, that means I'm about action. I'm about business shit. And it's not necessarily the wardrobe. Don't get the wardrobe fucked up. Wardrobe don't mean anything. But I just feel the need to wear my Puma jacket when I do this networking experience. You know what I mean? Just to let niggas know I'm serious. You know, I always say I'm serious. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? Besides after this networking experience, I mean, I'm going to keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to approach nobody until I leave this fucking state. When I travel to Los Angeles and shit. And then hopefully I can run into a celebrity that can help me in life. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm banking on and shit. But ultimately, you know what I'm saying? As far as the women and shit, I mean, I'm kind of just, you know, just chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling and shit. Just saying something can work for me. Just saying something can work for me and shit. And hopefully shit does and shit. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much all I gotta say and shit. For that situation and shit, you know? So hopefully I can find a woman that really loves me, man. I really want a girl that actually loves me, man, and that is loyal. That is really all I fucking ask for. Just a girl that loves me for who I am and that is loyal and don't want no other man but me. That's all I fucking want. That's all I fucking want, man. You know, I dropped my standards so much. I dropped them so much, man. I dropped my standards, man. Look, man, you ain't gotta have a lot of money, man. You ain't gotta have, you know, this fucking business, apartment, cars and shit. I don't even care, man. I dropped the standard so much. I mean, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Just look decent and fucking love me and be loyal. That's just what I'm looking for, man. Honestly, man, I gotta look for genuine love. I can't look for like fucking clout chaser or power hungry woman, you know what I'm saying, all that other shit, you know what I mean? I really gotta look. I'm really looking for love, man. I gotta find that, you know what I'm saying? I can't be, you know, too, you know what I mean? And, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily settling, you know what I'm saying? I seen a couple of those posts, not necessarily settling, but I tell you this much, I'd rather fuck with a girl that like really loves me than a girl that, okay, she might, you know, meet my criteria or some shit, but doesn't necessarily love me. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking for and shit. Hopefully I can find it. You know what I mean? All that other shit. I don't know if I'll be able to. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of, you know, the end of that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the end of this video and shit, I added this little piece in here. So I was talking about my future children. So obviously my son, I gotta turn him up when he's young. And I make sure he don't live a bad fucking childhood like me. My daughter, you know what I'm saying? I'm a body right there, you know? Yep. About to be fucking slobbing her down and shit, fucking kissing her and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I'm gonna sit fuck. I'm lying about that shit. I'm not gonna do that, bro. But I most definitely, I would definitely kiss her in the mouth and shit. I'm definitely gonna do that shit. I ain't gonna be doing all that extra shit, man. Fuck no. Fuck you think I look like doing that shit. What the fuck? But I'm just saying, though, that's my body right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm saying that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is me. Not literally, but it's like, you know, like figuratively, you know what I'm saying? She's not my replica, nothing like that. She's not exactly me. She's not my twin or nothing like that. But, you know what I mean? That is me. Like, that is my DNA. You know, so I just want to let that be known. I'm entitled to her more than anybody. You know what I mean? So I just want to let that be known and shit. You know, I'm gonna be kissing her in front of all her friends and shit. I'm gonna kiss her in front of all her friends and shit. You know what I mean? All that other shit. They're gonna be like, why you ain't got no boyfriend? She'll be like, my dad's my boyfriend. Yep, you married to me, bitch. Then, you know what I'm saying, once you turn 18 and shit, you can, you know, be free. Go ahead and test the waters out. Then, you know, when that man end up leaving you, you know what I'm saying, I can beat you up and then you're going to wait till marriage and then you're going to end up, you know what I'm saying, you're going to wait till you find a man that actually want to fuck with you and not use you. Because you're going to be popping when you get about in your late teenage years and shit. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm alive. You know what I mean? But, you know what I'm saying, that's just how it's going to be and shit. So, you know, we're going to see, you know what I'm saying, we're going to see and shit. We're going to see. But anyway. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. And until next time, this is the end of the Cam That Guy. See you probably never again, or maybe later on.